All right, y'all. Welcome to another Slow Dojo media production of Sittin and Sippin with myself, Brandon West, and you know who.
Chris Plessier is my name.
All right, now, we hope that you all had a great Pride weekend. Here in SF, it was such a marvelous and momentous occasion, even though we are in the midst of a few pandemics, to be honest. And concerning COVID-19, please continue to stay safe and don't be any shade of a Ken or a Karen. Cover your damn face and respect our essential workers and your neighbors. The marches and rallies for celebrating the 50th anniversary of Pride and celebrating each other, really, was so moving to me. And never before in my life have I felt more seen and a part of such a diverse community. From Polk Street to City Hall, to meeting up with the other marchers in Castro. I know I'm not alone in that. I mean, it was simply put, fabulous.
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 That's wonderful, baby.
Today we are going to talk about cancel culture. But before we get down to it, we need to take care of the business of the house. Now, and I think it's my turn this week. How about that? Can I try it?
Yeah.
You mind?
Yeah.
Do you mind?
Brandon, what are you sipping on?
Okay, now I'm sipping on a little Tecate and a bit of Earl Grey tea because I gotta take care of my throat.
Oh, yeah. I'm sipping on the same thing. You poured me some of this Earl Grey.
It's good,
It's
right?
really good.
Yeah, I think it's always good to have some tea around. Just to, lubricate isn't the word I'm looking for, but it's the only one that comes to mind. So I'm just gonna go with that.
Lube it up.
Lube it up. Now, we talked about this, earlier this week, and I'm so glad that you were also wanting to speak on this, that it would be a good idea to spend our time today talking about cancel culture. Mm-hmm. And if you are on IG or whatever you do on social media, Twitter, TikTok, I'm old. For even 5 minutes, but I still look good. But for even 5 minutes, that people and things are canceled left and right. I think in many instances, canceling someone or a company is really flowing down the right vein, like with that CrossFit CEO. What was his name?
Greg Glassman, who was ousted after he made some racist remarks on Twitter and on a company Zoom call.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Bye. But I do think there are times when people are just doing too much, passing judgment too quickly on individuals that are trying to help, but might need some guidance, and this happens a lot, I understand, especially in the social media age. But tell me, what do you think about cancel culture, Chris?
I was definitely aware of people
Say
getting...
that 3 times.
Oh.
Cancel culture, Chris.
Cancel culture, Chris. Cancel culture, Chris. Cancel culture, Chris. Ooh, I'm pretty good. I think it's that tea.
All right.
That's helping me do that.
What do you think about that?
I was definitely aware of people getting ousted for making racist and offensive remarks, but I haven't actually heard the term cancel culture before you brought it up to me the other day. Mm-hmm. I think this is a great topic to go over considering our divisive and political climate at the moment. For those of you who are just as out of the loop as myself, cancel culture... God damn. Cancel culture.
Get it out now.
Cancel culture describes a form of boycott in which an individual has shared a questionable or controversial opinion on social media. This will lead to them being ostracized and shunned by former friends, followers, and supporters, and will ultimately ruin their reputation and career. This form of ostracization is touchy because although there are many people out there who are just unwilling to learn and accept the climate we are in, There are so many potential allies in this fight that are smart and open-minded that deserve to have a voice, an opinion, and a conversation. We need to listen to each other and not always assume somebody is a racist based off of comments that might be ill-informed. We as a society need to be willing to set our frustrations and anger aside and have some honest conversations. Shaming does not lead to learning, and someone who is trying to learn needs to be taught, not canceled. Damn it.
Now listen, I think those are some very valid points, and I agree with you.
Yeah, and you showed me an episode of Bill Maher the other day where he spoke about cancel culture, and there was a really great quote where he said, "If I fuck up, tell me why, not goodbye."
Yes.
And I think that's...
Yeah. I think in that same episode, he quoted someone out of the Smith family and loved them and all of their progressiveness. Now, that said, I think it was Willow. That said that, I see a lot of people, I'm paraphrasing here, see a lot of people shaming other people for what they're saying or what they're not saying, or being, what they're saying that's wrong,
right,
or just not saying anything at all, just shaming people. But shaming doesn't lead to learning, I think, is the real takeaway of what she said. And I think that's really important. We have friends, and we're all still learning here. And so I think we need to be very careful, especially with what we're doing and going through right now, that we remain vigilant about not only the changes that we need, but the people that we are working with and really understanding, and not just pushing people to the side or leaving people behind because they are not saying it the way that we want to hear it. And when I say we, I mean individuals, I mean internet. And we all know that internet culture can be very abrasive. So we got to be careful about that. The internet is a powerful tool and it can do a lot of good. But we can all agree that sometimes, as it goes with powers unchecked. I'm looking at you, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
God, why hasn't that guy gotten canceled?
Time's coming up. You guys better do, you guys, ladies, non-binary people, you humans, okay? You better do the right thing. It can lead to some damaging outcomes for people that were just trying to help, but turns out that they may not have been helping the quote-unquote right way. Look, that's just silly to me. And while I think that the world is having a reckoning right now, and many people and organizations should be subjected to cancellation as we know it, because sometimes showing them the door is the only option. Although we must remain open to having conversations with those persons who may not understand. They're on the right track. We all are trying to get somewhere. And there are a lot of us that are trying to get somewhere, trying to get to the same place, but we don't always say the same. We may be trying to say the same message, but don't have the same words.
Yes.
So we might need a little bit of guidance.
Yes. And it's important. Yeah, it's important for people to step outside their bubbles and talk to people who don't necessarily have like the same viewpoint. Maybe you can
absolutely
do some good in the world.
Always, one thing I would always say, I could tango with the devil.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm gonna let him get in my bed.
I hear that.
Do you?
Well, I wouldn't do it. But. So the TV show Cops actually was canceled.
Oh yeah,
following everything that's happening, the George Floyd protests, after being on air for 32 seasons. I grew up with Cops. You grew up with Cops?
I grew up with Cops. I mean, I think back to Texas, and I think back to, oh Lord, those hot, humid days sitting in there in the living room at grandmama's house with a pickle And I love me some pickles. Put a peppermint in it.
Like a dill?
Bite the head off and just stick a peppermint in the middle, and it's a little sweet and sour thing. Maybe that's some country shit.
Like
I don't know. But let me tell you, if you haven't tried it, try it.
Like a
dill pickle, like one of the big ones.
Big old pickle.
A big old pickle. Now listen. Anyway, yeah. But, think about American culture and think about that TV show. Think about what we show people every day and how that was normalized, how we present certain things to persons, to the citizens, to, the audience. Cops are good. And I'm not here to say that all cops are bad. I have an uncle that's a police officer, and he's a great guy. And not all cops are bad, but let me tell you this. We still need to arrest those motherfuckers that murdered Breonna Taylor. We still need to get justice for Elijah McClain. Now, there are good and bad people.
It paints cops as being this kind of entity. Savior, yeah. Bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. That's what I'm gonna do.
Bad boys.
And then you have movies like Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Did you think now? Do you think that should have been taken off of HBO? What do you think about that?
To be honest, last time I watched it was in film school, and I don't even remember it.
Okay. And that is that's something to be thought about as well. Yeah. You haven't seen it in a while.
In a very long time. I would actually like to watch it again, just to see what it's all about.
Now, I understand that. Look, at the end of the day, sure, pull all the shit down, because that's fine with me. But I also think it is important. I don't think it should be streaming for just everyone to digest without some precursor of what this actually represents. I think that needs to happen. I think it should be in a library somewhere. I think people need to do that, but to know that so that you don't repeat on VHS tape, take it to Blockbuster. We know where Blockbuster is. So that's how I feel about that.
There's one left, apparently.
But, don't put it, it's not up there to be a fucking, Friday night happening. And pull those statues down, absolutely. But when it comes to cancel culture and people and organizations, I think there's a real and the internet. I think that there's something that we really need to pay attention to there. There are people that are actually doing wrong and people that don't want to do right, and those people need to go and need to be stopped in their tracks.
Yes,
but there are also people, allies, that don't have the verbiage right now and are learning and in the process of learning. So don't stop somebody from learning. It should be an ongoing conversation.
Yeah, definitely an ongoing conversation. And we could go on for hours on this topic and probably get completely off the rails.
Oh, let me pour some tea over here.
All right.
Earl Grey.
Can you fill me up too?
Oh, yes, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah. Nice. You just blow on it first.
That was my cup. There you go.
Thanks, bud.
You're welcome. Now, I also want to say, actually, let me take a step back here. What do you think about this, really? You had a conversation with a friend.
I had a conversation with a friend. It was interesting. I mean, I've had a couple conversations where it was a good thing. It allowed me to step outside of my bubble, thinking that everyone who I surround myself with and talk to has that same mentality that I'm coming from, and just kind of realizing that not everybody does. They might have good intentions, but my friend, he had he's a super smart guy. And I think he had posted some things on social media, and he was telling me he was really upset because he was getting a lot of backlash from it. And so then he just became silent. He stopped posting. He was really defensive about the Black Lives Matter movement and like how like they were the reason why he has to be silent and not voice his opinion as a white man. Mm-hmm. And I think at the end of the conversation, I mean, it was really good. It was, you know, I think just kind of listening. I was telling him my piece. I think it's just a matter of understanding. And this comes to the cancel culture thing. I don't think everybody should be canceled. Like, he should not be canceled. He shouldn't feel bad about, or I mean, he should do the research and he should talk before
he should definitely do the work.
He should do the work before he puts anything out there. But I think it's a little bit more complicated than just shunning people out who could potentially.
I agree.
You know.
I agree that it's a bit more complicated than just shunning people out. You were talking to me about that conversation that you had with your friend, and this is somebody that's been around, a white man that's been around for a while.
Super close to me, yeah.
And he is for the people and anti-police as far as it goes with not... where police don't need to be. Police are not psychologists.
Yeah.
Police are not here to solve the unhoused person's problem. Police are here to support the community and to protect us. That's what they're supposed to be here for.
And a lot of these messages, I think, like defunding the police,
right, are misconstrued
and
politicized.
Politicized. And it becomes this partisan issue.
People don't know what defunding the police means.
Yeah, it's
and
like...
we should get into that sometime.
You know, it's like, yeah, exactly.
I would love to get into that.
Should.
I would love to get into that.
I know that's going to be a conversation.
You know it is.
But just, I mean, when did Black Lives Matter become a political issue?
It became a political issue when we put somebody in the White House that made it his only purpose to divide.
Yes.
And not bring together.
Yes.
To not really solve the problems. We wouldn't be having this pandemic situation. We wouldn't be having a lot of... But you know what? We need to pay attention to our leadership. We need to pay attention to things like cancel culture. And to your point, when you're talking to your friend and somebody gets frustrated because they're trying to say something and they are being told that that's not it, like, pull that homie to the side and be like, hey, bro, hey, sis, hey, queen, that ain't it, but let's talk about it and let's straighten this out so you understand what's going on. We're not saying that all lives don't matter, but there's an emphasis on what does matter because that's what's being affected right now. And furthermore, it is the job as far as racism goes. Remember this past weekend at the 50th anniversary of the Pride celebrations with Juanita Moore and Alex UN. And Alex said to our white allies, you have to pick up and talk and teach each other, white folks. I can't say it enough. You got to talk.
Come on, white folks.
Because it's not for
folks,
black people and brown people to teach you this, but talk and teach each other, those that are here, to open their hearts and minds. And furthermore, if you have that strength, take on those, and you should have that strength, that don't want to hear it. And to those that are so filled with hate and ignorance, going 95, now this is just my words, going 95 in a 40-mile-per-hour zone, shut their asses down and let them go. Canceled. Brandon West says, and this goes far beyond racism. I'm talking about transphobia, misogyny, homophobia, not wearing a mask.
I know. When did that become a fucking thing?
Goodbye.
Come on.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Adios.
Amigo.
Girl, bye. Lose your job and start over. That may sound harsh, but don't you dare get me started or any of your BIPOC brethren family started on what harsh is. If you don't do the work, then you lose your seat because people are losing their lives. Okay? But if you are doing the work and you want to do the work, then if you have a slip up, we can be cool. Let's chat and get it straight and keep it moving together. I think that's what's important.
Yeah.
This whole cancel culture thing is really it's so prevalent because we spend so much time, especially now during this pandemic. We're all on the internet. We get all of our information and it gets so mixed up. So we really, when you see one thing, then you have to go and fact check it 5 other places.
Yeah.
Or you just choose to believe wherever you got it from.
Exactly.
And like for this show, for instance, like we can't get on here and just like say, oh, well, somebody said this. Because I'm going to be like, well, where did you hear that?
TMZ.
And then where they get it from?
TMZ.
And then where they get it from?
TMZ.
Throw that shit in the trash.
Bye, Karen.
Bye, Ken. Look, cancel culture is something that I think has been around forever. Like you said at the beginning of the show, shunning. But shunning and putting people down for certain things has been something that the world has been so good at for such a long time. Let's not stop having conversations with people that are here that are really trying to help. So
I mean, this has been an awesome conversation.
We could go on and on.
We can go on and on.
We're not experts on this, but we thought it was really important that we just at least touched on it. And look, thank you guys for listening. I hope that you can continue these conversations, and if you have anything else to add to help us continue this conversation, that'd be great. Leave it in the comments, leave it in the DM, and have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next Thursday. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Have a good night. A good day. Good morning.
I'm done with you. You canceled. Bye.
Bye.